Alright, now, I've had the chance to look at every technique, basically, but I've not had a chance to make a build of all of them. Now, for example, Sonic Boom, Monarch Claws, what other ones? What other ones haven't I made build with? Deadeye, I've not made build of most of those ones, because they just don't seem too good to make a build with, but we'll get into them later. Anyway, starting off, our first technique we have Serpent Style, pretty sure. This one gives your spears 30% more damage, I think 20% more poise damage as well. I don't remember what the other 20% stat was. They do a different M1 combo, which makes it look like it swings slower. I don't know if that's the case. And then they also inflict venom. This seems pretty decent. Like, we do have two spear techniques. We also have Giant Slayer, which is mid at best, but this actually isn't that bad. You can make a decent venom build with this and make it status effect, I'd say. It's not the best one though, obviously, because it's really easy to get. It's like the first technique you get. For me, it was the first, but depending on everything from that, I wouldn't say it's S tier, because obviously there's better techniques. I'd say it's A tier. It's pretty decent. Next up we have Ivory Anklet. Yeah, nobody even used this as an accessory, never mind a technique. On a gun build or a rapier build, pretty sure rapier's the one, you would use dual stagger for rapier builds and maybe Deadeye if you want to do a gun build. You don't really use Ivory Anklet. I mean, the only build it was good in was the movement build Mr. Windley made, but obviously you're using a technique slot in this now, and all you get is dodge frames if you press a button. I mean, it's decent. I wouldn't say it's the worst, it's not unusable, but I might put it down. I'm putting it at C for now. Tidal technique. Now, the thing is, I'm not going to base it off of the technique itself. I know that's kind of cheating, I'm not ranking the actual techniques here, but Tidal technique really gets helped out by the Sailor Tat, because basically that makes it so the technique, you can use it twice in quick succession if you have the Sailor Rage buff, which basically doubles its damage. It's basically just the heavy attack with the anchor before with Sailor Hat, which was really good. It was really good. So I need to think. No, I'm not counting the heavy attack with the anchor, the bigger slam with Sailor Age. It's just the waves, right? I'd say if it's just the waves, that puts it at A tier because it's pretty decent. Is it? A tier though? Yeah, I'd say so. Alright, next up. Yeah, this isn't even like a question. Occult Arts is just really good. One of the best techniques in the game. You get to do either Blood or Chaos, and both of them are really good. I prefer Chaos, but Blood's also pretty decent. Like, I don't think a single weapon is bad with it because it just adds extra damage. The only problem is Blood takes away health, but just put a Blood gem on the weapon and you're fine. Next up, Boom Shells. I've not had much time to use this one, but it's for the Squid Blaster and it shoots a giant boom shell which does extra damage. It says it's incendiary, but I haven't seen it light enemies on fire, so that kind of sucks, but it does good damage. I wouldn't say it's bad, but the ones which probably take like a really specific build to get a bit of value out of, I'll just put in B tier. It's not as bad as Ivory Anklet, but it's not as good as the other ones which actually have pretty clear builds to make with them. So here we have another no-brainer. Dark Spin Arts is another S tier. Just really good technique. You don't even need to use it on the Lizard Great Axe, which does get really good different heavy attacks. You can use it on stuff like Pinwheel or any other axe for a matter of fact, and it will just get good value. I'm not even talking about Snow Shatter and shit, which I haven't had a chance to really use with it, but I've heard are really good, so overall just S tier, really good. Now, I don't know what to say about Upheaval, because the thing about Upheaval is it just adds extra damage. It's not a status effect like Serpent Style, it's not a new ability like Dark Spin or Occult. It just, you pick up a rock and you throw it, Like, same for boulder blades. So it's not really too much to say other than it just adds more damage. You can't really make a build around it. It just adds damage. So I think B tier is fair for it. And now we move on to a twisted technique, which I really like. I really like this technique, especially on Buster Sword. Basically, you charge up a meter above your head, and then after it's done, you can like keep spinning and Buster Sword heavy attack, and also for your main attacks, they do extra damage. I think it's like double damage, but that's only for one hit, and you charge it up for so long that you're gonna get hit out of it because it gets cancelled if you get hit. I want this one to be really good. Don't get me wrong, it's really good with Sandpod Crown and Buster Sword, because then you just become invincible. But other than that, I mean, like, it's not. These just add extra damage. This is hard to use, but isn't it? I'd say put Ivory Anklet down. I want to put it in B tier or A tier, but it just gets cancelled so easily. If it didn't get cancelled so easily, I would put it up to B tier or A tier. Like, if you could walk while using it, which I do know how to do, which I'm going to be making a video on tomorrow probably, how I walk while using it. But yeah, doesn't seem too good. And now we have another one, the Sonic Boom, which the main utility of it is you can bounce off walls with it, which is very fun. Like, if you go in one of the houses in the prairie, you can just bounce off the walls when you go inside them. But that's only going to make it in PvP. I don't think there's a single boss arena that has walls, except maybe Snow Cultist. Maybe you can get value on Snow Cultist. But other than that, maybe Thief King, maybe. Yeah, there's not much arenas with walls, and like if we exclude that, it's just gonna be a charge. However, it's more useful than Twisted Technique because you can actually use it in a fight. So I think B tier's fair for it. Now, I want to hate on Monarch Claws because I just don't like it, but I have to admit it's at least decent because you can just press T and then get your Bloodthirst up to max, like almost instantly on any fist build, which is pretty decent compared to like Twisted Technique. So it's not C tier. I don't want to put it straight B tier though. But the thing that brings it down a little bit is you have to have Bloodthirst, like at least, which does take it out of A tier, I think. Is it that good though? I don't know. I'd put it in between A tier and B tier because it's quite decent. I've actually used this one in a build, and it did perform decently well, but the technique doesn't do that much damage. It's just good for getting the Bloodthirst up. You don't need it in a fist build, so yeah, I think B tier's fair for it. Alright, does anyone know if Arrow Rain's even good? Because the thing is, you just press T and it shoots arrows from the sky. I know the name of it, but you can't use it on Blizzard Great Bow or maybe Demetal Great Bow. I don't know if you can use it on that, but you can use it on basically every other bow. Even for some reason, you can use it on the Azure Rocket, which is a crossbow, but you can't use it on the crossbow. Don't know why, but anyways, you just deal extra damage with it. I don't want to just put it in the B tier. I'm thinking either C tier or A tier because I've not used this one that much. I don't know how well it does against bosses, but on dummies the damage is like 300 if you let it do the damage over time, but obviously that's a still enemy. Don't know how that would fare against someone like Kata, who's actually moving. I'd say as well, you need to actually get up close to the enemy to use it, I'm pretty sure. Unless you can aim with your mouse where you put it. Because of that, I don't know, like on dummies it seems decent. On bosses it could be bad. So I'm just gonna put it in B tier. Alright, and now we have Elite Guard, which I don't know what this one does really. I know that it puts a little meteor over your head, which resists damage. I think that's what it does. And it actually does have pretty good value because you can make some pretty good builds with it. Because it synergizes with different, what's it called? Shield accessories, like when the armor thing breaks with Scrap Shield, it releases like spikes. It actually seems like it has potential, so I'm going to put it in A tier for that, because it seems like it does have a bit of potential compared to something like Upheaval, which just adds more damage. You can actually make a build with this, so yeah, that seems decent. Alright, next up for the spear, we have Giant Slayer. I think that's the name. You go up in there, you come back down, it just deals damage. Really not that good. If you look at it, compare this to Serpent Style. You deal venom, you deal more damage, more poise damage. You swing slower, but you can put Caustic Fang on, you can make a status fit build. This is just more damage. I would put it at B tier, but it's one of the more ones. In fact, no. I think I might put Arrow Rain down and put Twisted Technique up, because Twisted Technique's actually pretty decent. I used it a bit more, because I took a bit of a break from recording, and I found out that you can make some pretty decent builds with it. So, yeah, I'd say that's fair. Yeah. Okay, next technique. Now we have Scrap Nail Gun, which I think is called again, but this, you shoot scrap nails, and they have a chance to apply the corrosion effect on bleeding enemies. That's actually quite decent. I don't think it's the worst. In fact, no, actually it's quite good, because the corrosion does a lot of damage, and it's a stats effect. I don't know if it weakens enemies, I don't think it does, but even alone with that, that's A tier. Now we have Azure Firecrackers, or Fireworks. I don't remember what kind of thing it was. They just add more damage at the end of the day. But on something like the Pinwheel, I'd rather Dark Spin Arts, because I can just put Dark Spin on the weapon, or put Spin on the weapon, and every time I attack, I have a chance to proc Spin, compared to having to wind up the Fireworks or Crackers and then having to hit them for extra damage. I just have this on all the time, if that makes sense. It's still not bad though. At the end of the day, all these add extra damage except Monarch Claws, so just put it up there. And Twisted Technique. Next up is Deadeye. I actually really like this one. If you get the timing down, you get a... I'm pretty sure it's crit all the time. I've used it as crit every single time. But it actually can hit up to 8 enemies if you count all your ammo. But wait, could you maybe use it with Outlaw Glasses as well to make it whenever you crit you get ammo back? It actually doesn't even seem that bad. I will say, I've heard it isn't the best, but it just seems kind of cool. I don't want to just put it in B tier though, I kind of want to put it in A tier, but it does just seem quite mid. So I think B tier is fair for it. Now I've not used Shock Valve much. I've used it like maybe once or twice, but I know it's really good. On, what's it called again? I forgot the name of the weapon. Air Gun. It's just really good on Air Gun, I really like it. I don't think it's good enough being S tier, but it's definitely an A tier. You can get really good value out of it. Can't talk. Out of it on any airgun build, so it deserves A tier for that. And now we have Duelist Dagger, which is maybe a bit controversial here, but I want to put S tier. Or is it A tier? Because no, I think it goes S tier. You get a parry, which deals a lot of damage. And on top of that, you can roll and then press it, and then you get a kick. If you do that 3 times, then your rapier does double damage. That's just so good. Like, actually one of the best techniques. Love this technique. So I'm tempted to put it in A tier, but I think it should be an S tier. Anyways, next up we have Bell Scent Style. I really like this one as well. You get the wind attack with the bell, and then whenever you roll or finish an M1 combo, you get these little bell things which do a little bit extra damage. So overall, that's actually pretty decent. It actually makes me like playing with the bell now. And also that T attack, the technique, the like wind thing, can one shot like big fish if you line it up right, or if enemies are big enough, because each like plume of wind does like 150 damage, and there's like 10 of them, so you can do like a lot of damage with that. Anyways, our final technique is Magic Chalk, which I have now, and you just draw a chalk circle around you and you get 10% mana per second. Really good. I don't think there's a problem with this one. Now, I'm just gonna put it A tier for now. Deciding whether to put it S tier. Looking at the S tier ones, broken, pretty decent. And then these ones are also really good. You need it on every staff build. And it works on every staff build, it just works well. Compared to all these ones, I'd say... I'm actually thinking about this one. I'd say S tier. I'd say it's really good. Do I? Yeah, okay. That's me done with the tier list now. And if you enjoyed watching, consider subscribing because, for example, I made a guide on all techniques and it got like 60,000 views and I don't have 60,000 subscribers, so yeah, consider subscribing. Anyway, bye.